Hello everyone, my name is Miss Yvonne, and for this week's Book Talk Friday, I'm going to talk to you about a series of picture books that I love very dearly. And it's the series of books by Li Jian. Li Jian is a Chinese illustrator and author who graduated from art school and taught art in middle school in Hubei, China. And he was also a children's book editor, and he's now a partner of an illustration studio. He usually writes children's books about Chinese stories and folklores, and he'll illustrate most of the books. So he has been cooperating with the translator Li Jian for a long time, and that's why most of his books are actually bilingual with both English and Chinese in it, which are pretty popular in the US. So he wrote books about Chinese zodiac, like this one, the water dragon, and this one, the brown stock, or about famous Chinese scenic spot, like this one, the Forbidden City, and some very well-known Chinese people, like Mulan, and just some renowned Chinese story that we've heard since we were kids. I love how he wrote his story out, which is usually very simple with not too much words, so that you can actually learn English and Chinese together. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite books of this series, which is Ming's Adventure in the Forbidden City. So Ming is a character that Li Jian created, and he has all these adventures in a lot of different famous places in China. For example, this one is about the Forbidden City, Gugong, which is where the emperors lived. I love how the books will walk you through this famous scenic spot. Like this one, it will show you that after you go through the Meridian Gate, you will get to the Inner Golden River Bridge, which is some of the famous spots inside the Forbidden City. Although it is illustrated, you can still see the buildings and the styles of the architectures here. And for this character, Ming, he would have to overcome some of the obstacles throughout the stories as well. And in this case, he actually traveled back through time and met the young emperor of the Forbidden City, which is pretty fun. And I not only love how Li Jian wrote the stories, but also his style of illustration. You can see that his art has a lot of influences from the traditional Chinese art called the Chinese brush painting, where you use ink and Chinese brushes to paint, and it's usually black and white, but in most of his books it's like colorful. And at the very end of the book, you will always get a page of cultural explanations. So you can see that this one actually walks you through some of the very famous spots inside the Forbidden City, and there will be more in-depth explanations about these spots in both English and Chinese. It's just a lot of fun to read his books, and you can always learn some Chinese or something about the stories, the Chinese cultures, when you finish reading the books. And that's why I love his books so much. I hope you enjoyed this week's Book Talk Friday, and I'll see you next time. Bye!